Eli's life used to move at the speed of success. His art studio was one of the most admired in the city. Clients lined up, articles were written about him, and he was called the man whose hands paint emotion. But success is a fragile thing, and pride has a way of cracking even the strongest clay. When Eli's mentor discovered that Eli had taken credit for a design that wasn't fully his, it spread fast, faster than he could explain, faster than forgiveness could reach him. Eli lost his studio, his reputation, and worst of all, himself. 2 months later, Eli found himself on an old bus headed back to his hometown. The air smelled of dust and distant rain. He hadn't been home in 10 years, not since his mother passed away. He didn't plan to stay long, just long enough to figure out what was next. But sometimes, what's next comes looking for you, even when you're running from it. The next morning, while wandering through the town, Eli stumbled upon a small pottery shop tucked between two worn-out buildings. A wooden sign hung above the door, reading, "The Second Vessel." Curiosity tugged at him. He stepped inside. Mara spoke with a gentle voice, "Good morning. You look like someone who's lost his way, or maybe just looking to find something again." Eli laughed nervously while saying, "Maybe both." Mara said, "Well, you've found the right place. The potter's shop always welcomes the broken." Eli didn't understand what she meant at first, but something about her words stirred something deep inside him, something he thought was gone. He began visiting the shop every morning. At first, just to watch. Then, one day, Mara handed him a lump of clay. "Go ahead. Shape it. Don't worry about the cracks. They're part of the story." As Eli pressed his hands into the clay, it resisted him. It was stubborn, dry, unwilling, much like his own heart. Mara watched quietly, then said, "Do you know what happens to a marred vessel, Eli? The potter doesn't throw it away. He breaks it, wets it again, and reshapes it. Because the potter sees what the clay cannot." And in that moment, Eli remembered the scripture his mother used to read. "And the vessel that he made of clay was marred in the hand of the potter. So he made it again another vessel, as seemed good to the potter to make it." Jeremiah 18 verse 4. Days turned into weeks. Eli learned to mold, to shape, to wait. In the stillness of the shop, surrounded by clay and silence, his soul began to heal. Sometimes Mara would hum old hymns. Sometimes they'd work in silence. Every piece Eli made seemed to carry part of his story. The cracks, the tension, the patience. He began to realize that forgiveness wasn't about forgetting. It was about allowing yourself to be remade. One evening, Mara told Eli that every vessel must go through the fire, the kiln. Without the fire, it would never be strong enough to hold anything. She said softly, "Pain, Eli, is not punishment. It's preparation. The fire doesn't destroy the clay, it defines it." Eli stood before the kiln that night, watching the flames dance. In the flicker of light, he saw his past, the pride, the betrayal, the guilt. He whispered, "God, if you can still use what's left of me, then here I am." A week later, Mara fell ill. Her shop fell silent. Eli stayed by her side, finishing her last unfinished pot, one she said was special. With trembling hands, he shaped the final curve, remembering her words about patience, pressure, and grace. Mara said, "You see, Eli, every vessel has two stories, one before it breaks, and one after it's been remade. The second one is always more beautiful." Those were her last words before she passed. Eli reopened the pottery shop in her honor, calling it the Second Vessel. People began visiting, not just to buy pottery, but to talk, to heal, to share their stories of brokenness. He would often tell them how he thinks God was done with him. But God was only reshaping him. On the shelf sat the pot he made for Mara, once cracked, now mended with gold along its seams, shining brighter than before. That gold, he explained, wasn't to hide the scars, but to celebrate them. Because in God's hands, even the broken become beautiful. Forgiveness doesn't erase the past, it redeems it. And second chances aren't about going back, they're about becoming new. So if you ever feel too broken, too far gone, or too guilty to start again, remember the potter's hands. They're still shaping, still creating, still waiting for you to say, Here I am, because the potter never wastes the broken pieces.